Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we smash apart the films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And the other day I was looking at helicopters.
Sure.
And I said,
as you do.
What if I want to buy like an old Bell, 212,
sure.
212 helicopter? Mm-hmm. Not cheap. Like $3.5 million.
Really? Oh, see, I was thinking in the hundreds of thousands. I didn't think they'd actually into millions.
$3 to $4 million.
Just like those little 4-seater.
Well, this can do about like 4 to 6.
Okay.
But wow,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that. Yeah. Like I knew Gulfstreams were like crazy.
Sure.
But a helicopter. Anyway.
Okay.
Why would I bring that up?
I guess we're going to find out as we discuss minute 14 of Louis Leterrier's 2008 film, The Incredible Hulk. And boy, this minute is packed.
Hey, get comfortable. Yeah, take a break if you're at work, because
we're gonna get into it.
There's a lot going on now.
The movie really kicks off right here. Yes. I would say, like
this is it.
A lot of Bruce, a lot of establishing, a lot of getting stuff ready. But this is where things really kick into high gear.
Absolutely.
And it starts with the one, the only Stan the Man Lee.
Oh, this is awesome! Is this his earliest cameo ever in a movie?
He was in the Spider-Man movies, the Tobey.
No, but I mean the earliest in the movie.
Earliest in the movie, yeah,
like 14 minutes,
right? Because I wonder if he gets beaten. I believe this is his first line, because in his Iron Man cameo, I don't think he has a line. Because chronologically, he did his cameo in Iron Man. That's where they're on the red carpet and passes him. I don't think he says anything. So his first line in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is "Wow."
Wow. Okay.
So he is the co-creator, I guess I should say, of The Incredible Hulk.
So the funniest thing about this shot is, and this is one of those, it's the perspective is from inside the refrigerator.
Yeah,
and if any of you are fans of Food Network, Food TV, you know that
this is the Alton Brown shot?
Yes, this is the Alton Brown. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So they don't put a camera inside a fridge. No, this is a fridge that the back has been cut off.
Yes.
Because you can't do that. It's not going to work, right?
Yeah, with lighting and everything.
So this is all a made-up thing, right?
That's right.
So they got a fridge from one of these. But here's the best part is, and I have it screenshotted, if you go this frame by frame, when he opens the door, Mr. Lee, right, does what everyone is told not to do as an actor. He full-on looks right at the camera.
That's right. Right down the barrel.
I mean, he opens it, and for a brief second, he's like, "Oh, camera," and then goes right into acting. And it's awesome that they left that in there.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't recut it or anything.
Yeah.
It's just, you get this awesome shot of him that's just like, it's me.
Yeah, that's right. You know it. You love it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's supposedly in Milwaukee that we find when the voiceover tells us there's been a gamma poisoning case in Milwaukee.
Oh.
And it happens that it's Stan the Man Lee. He's drinking a bottle of Pingo Dose.
Oh, it's come back.
That's right.
That quick.
That's right. It's interesting that it's dissipated enough that we don't actually see a bottle with something floating in it, because obviously if it had a red tint or whatever, we would know.
Yeah, they didn't make a case to
No.
Plus, you wouldn't drink that one.
No, exactly. You wouldn't drink that one. Exactly. I mean, if anything we know about Stan Lee is he doesn't drink tainted soda.
No, nor should anyone.
That's right. So he takes a swig, says "Wow," and then drops the bottle, and it shatters on the ground in beautiful slow-mo.
Now, is this implied? Did he die?
No, I think that there's probably a non-shot deleted scene out there of Hulk Stan ripping apart his own kitchen. Like that, he probably had a brief sort of and
I'll
tore
show
through
you.
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't get the impression he died. I got the impression that he tore up and then ended up at the other side of the neighborhood from a path of destruction behind him. Like, whoa, what just happened?
But it was just such a little thing that was it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was enough that obviously he probably tore his house apart or something, and that was enough that they could see that as the police show up on to help this old man, and he's picking up his car. It's like a shot from The Incredibles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, do you think getting metatextual then about the MCU at this point, is this just a guy who happens to look like the same guy who will show up later on as the Watcher?
Oh, wow!
Because
that's canon. That happened.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we know that there's
spoiler for a future season.
Yeah, no, in 2029 when we get to we get to talk about a future movie that it is revealed that several of his cameos were actually the same person.
Right.
So is this one of them? I would say no. Because it's from Universal.
Yeah.
Because this is the
just way to go. Way to put him in. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great cameo.
Again, going back to the whole nostalgia of this film.
Yes. He looks great, too.
He looks fantastic in the shot, and I mean, man, 15 minutes in, you're really happy with this movie.
Right? Yeah. It's moving along. So meanwhile, all right, so we cut back to the Pentagon, and we get to see our first sort of proper shot of Major Kathleen Spar, played by Christina Cabot. So Christina Cabot has 19 credits on her IMDb. Her last credit actually is her next movie. So this is her second to last movie so far. I mean, she's still alive. I'm not saying that. It's just that's where her career changed after that. And this is actually that will be her third movie with Edward Norton, because the next movie she does is Pride and Glory, which is Edward Norton's next film after this, where apparently he dyed his hair because of the hair, because the ongoing hair saga we have over the Incredible Hulk.
How does that? Well, okay, like, is that an agent thing, or is that just like, hey, you have a conversation with the
I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. It just because if she was actually in Fight Club as well, she was in the support group. She was the one who was leading the support group. When they had when the woman stands up and talks about wanting a date.
Right. Yes.
So she's not that woman, but she's like the one who's leading that and sort of like, takes her off the dais and stuff too. But it's interesting how Hollywood, because Hollywood is small.
Yeah, it is.
So she's an interesting person. She's the daughter of a famous jazz trumpeter named Joe Cabot, and her mother was an actor-singer named Cindy Lord. She's the character she's playing is actually a character from the comics. They changed a little bit of the spelling of it too, but she was actually in the Hulkbusters. The Hulkbusters was the division created by Thunderbolt Ross to stop the Hulk. So they used the biggest, most advanced military technology they can to try and stop the Hulk. They had power suits and helicopters and all these kinds of things that would go after the Hulk. So they were a recurring threat to the Hulk for a long time. So she actually is playing a character in continuity. We cut to Fort Johnson, Everglades. Now, why is it called Fort Johnson? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's Fort Johnson because the executive producer of the Incredible Hulk television series was Kenneth Johnson. So that's why this is Fort Johnson.
What a nice...
Right?
Yeah.
Another nod to the television series. He's also the man who changed the main character's name from Bruce to David.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And yes, why? Well, the lore says... because at the time, Bruce was seen as a gay name. And God forbid we have any character who sounds like he's a gay character.
The 70s.
Yeah, right?
What?
Yeah. But it's seriously, this is actually a real phenomenon. It wasn't just like a pitch thing. If you go back to some of Johnny Carson's old monologue, whenever he wanted to have a generic gay character name, he would use Bruce as the punchline. So at the time, that was the generic gay first name of a dude. So we couldn't have that for our superhero, so it had to be David.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We've come a long way, baby.
We've progressed.
But we still got a long way to go.
Yeah. All right.
So anyways, we're so this is actually a Canadian Air Force base. This is in Toronto, still in operation. So they were allowed to use this Canadian base and redress it so it looked like America. Bring in the Hummers made in South Bend, Indiana, to make it look more authentic. So all this is like in Toronto, but obviously I think it's fun how they just changed the lighting and to make it brighter. So it's like, oh, clearly we're in Florida. No, still in Toronto.
Wow.
But they just changed the exposure enough that it looks brighter so that you get the idea there. Meanwhile,
that's fantastic.
Right? It's really just great. It's just gray Canadian skies everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't stereotype Toronto because Toronto actually has all 4 seasons. We don't here in Phoenix, Arizona.
No.
So, let's say that they're not gray and miserable the whole time because there's lots of stuff to shot in Toronto because of that exact reason. Now we're going to get into some major stuff here. Before we do, we're about to meet a ton of characters in a very short succession. I wanted to do a shout out to the casting people for this. So Lorraine Mayfield, who we talked about during the opening credits thing, and helped by Robin D. Cook. Their casting in this movie is phenomenal because just the people we're going to meet in this minute, in minute 14, are astounding. They got for small parts. The people they got are great, and we're going to see it play out for the rest of the thing. Now, obviously, a casting person, as we talked about earlier, is not usually responsible for the above-the-line people. So, like, they probably were not involved in getting Edward Norton and getting Tim Roth. I'm thinking, like, the people who are, like, the movie stars. It's everybody else that they got into. And all these people are doing fantastic. As they're going along, we see a helicopter come in. So we get to see this is a Bell 212, is a common military helicopter. A lot of these vehicles they got were actually on loan from Canada, and they would just redress them. They would basically just put USA and all that kind of stuff on there and then take it off afterwards.
These are from 1968.
Yeah.
Like the Bell 200
these
series or the
Vietnam.
212.
Yeah.
50 years, this stuff was designed incredibly well.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you look right now, I found at the time of recording, a 96 Bell 212. The sale price was $3.6 million.
Wow.
I assume in good shape, and I mean,
that's right. What's
regular oil changes?
What does one in bad shape go for?
Yeah, that just... Okay, anyway, that just blew my mind.
Yeah, so then we hear, I pulled you an ace, and that ace is coming in. So we can see our first shot of Tim Roth playing Emil Blonsky. But as we're seeing it from a very distance, we're going to wait until the next minute to really get into his thing. But we're already seeing like he's coming in, and apparently he's the ace.
Well, he's the ace, but we're also going to mention this again at the end of this minute. He's on the chopper. Yeah. This is a practical effect.
That's really him. Like really Tim Roth sitting on that helicopter.
One of the coolest character intros.
It's pretty badass.
Ever, yeah. It's kind of amazing, right?
That's an amazing entrance that and solo. Like he's not crammed in with a bunch of dudes.
No.
Like it's like him gets a private helicopter. And that's how important Emil Blonsky is.
No, this first shot is just like from the side. You can see it's him. It's Tim Roth, right? Like this guy is in this helicopter, and then we're gonna even get a better shot at the end. But anyway, just you're like, all right. Yeah, who is this dude?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So then we cut to a two-shot, and we get to find out who this voiceover was. This is General Joe Greller. He is standing there with Thunderbolt Ross, and he's the one who's assembled this elite team. And as soon as you see him, you're like, oh, I know that guy, because he has 51 credits as an actor. Now, I'm talking about credits a lot, but I'm not using it as a metric in terms of how good or bad you are. Right. It's just more like how many things you get, because getting a credit on IMDb is a huge accomplishment. That number can sometimes be misinterpreted, too, because, like, Friends is 1 credit. Well, he did 200 episodes, so that doesn't really count for the career thing. So I when you see me in those numbers, I'm not doing it as he only has,
right,
just to get a level at what we're talking about. So he has 51 credits. That's amazing to him is that he actually has so many credits of things you've seen. Like he has a great agent, or he has great taste because he's been in so many amazing things. His first credit was in 1995 in Nancy Drew, because Hollywood is cyclical.
Yeah.
Currently there's Nancy Drew series in the air, totally unconnected to the one from 95 that was his first appearance. He's been in Star Trek Enterprise, he has been on Spartacus, he's been on Sleepy Hollow, he's been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But every once in a while, when you're an actor, you hit something that blows the culture wide open and you're part of it. He will always be associated with 3 words.
This is Sparta!
Because he's the dude that gets kicked into the pit in 300.
Yeah. I mean, just hearing that noise again and that...
Right? He was the messenger, just named Messenger in 300. As we're wrestling fans, he sold it.
Oh, he totally sold it. Oh, he folded himself.
Yes.
Getting the full-on kick to the
and
abdomen.
The shock on his face. Yes. I mean, like, as in the Zack Snyder slow-mo of, like, just seeing the shock on his face as he goes down into this pit.
I'm a big fan of him from the Spartacus series. And the Spartacus was the series, like, around 2010. Blood and Sand, Gods of the Arena.
After this, so he'll go on to do that where we are at now. But yeah.
I mean, absolutely. He did this just a few years after this movie. That show is amazing. Yeah. I mean, his role is fantastic.
Yeah.
I was looking through his list of other stuff, and then I did come up with in 2016, he was in the Kevin Hart What Now? And he was credited as the African dictator.
This I don't know. Is What Now a stand-up special?
I think. Okay. and I'm a fan of Kevin Hart. Like I did not see that.
Yeah.
But now I want to see that because
I assume it's a comedy sketch that
if it's a comedy sketch, and then he's like in a but okay, we got to see that. So
but he's again a great actor, and like he's done tons of stuff. He'll do tons of stuff, and like it's great. He's very small role in this, but it's really a vital one, just like he was in almost everything he does. But then he introduces the crew. These are the 5 commandos, and they're all credited as commando. The assemblage of talent they put together for just these guys who are just commandos is kind of astounding. And this is why I wanted to shout out to the casting bar, because these guys are amazing. Okay, Greg Brick, Chris Owens, Al Verkjian, yikes, sorry, Adrian Hine, and John McDonald. Once again, I apologize because I am terrible at pronunciation. So we'll start with Greg. So Greg has over 90 credits. He was in Saw 5, he was in History of Violence, he was in Shoot 'em Up. Oh, decent stuff. But all you video game nerds, that's Joseph from Far Cry 5.
Oh.
He was the big bad guy in Far Cry 5 and totally performance and motion captured. He looks just like him. So like if you watch the shot again on the far left, you'll be like, oh my God, it's Joseph. Like He was the big bad guy that you were going after that whole time. Next one, Chris. He has 75 credits. He was in Red with Bruce Willis. He was in The Expanse currently. That's on Amazon Prime. And most importantly, he was on The X-Files. He's Agent Jeffrey Spender.
Wow.
Yeah. If you see in the shot of the 5 of them, he's on the far right. For him, this is a minor thing because he had a major featured role. Because, if you were an X-Files fan, you know who Spender is. After that, we go to Al. He has 87 credits. He is also another stuntman who's done a ton of stuff. But the cool thing about him is he's an armorer, which I'd never seen before in a credit. He's the guy that does all the guns.
Which is really important.
It's really important.
Yes.
And so you can see, he's the one who, look at a character and go, okay, what would he be carrying? And, and basically matching up a gun to a person. So he's done that on a ton of movies. He's the one who brings out the catalog and go, no, you look more like a 9mm, not a 45. Next we have Adrian. He got 61 credits. He's a stuntman. He is also accustomed to running around on all fours. He was one of the performers in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, wow.
So he was one of the apes. And I believe he was an ape and a soldier, because that's how they did it on that movie. They would just put you into the thing, and now you're doing the other side.
We don't need double the amount of people.
Exactly. But the other cool thing about him is not only is he the stunt double for the Green Arrow, not only is he the stunt double for Deadpool, he's the stunt double for Captain America.
Oh, really?
Yes. He is one of the guys. He's one of the doubles for Chris Evans on Civil War.
Well, he got a ton of work after this. He's big in the MCU.
That's
wow.
right. Okay, and the last one, John McDonald, he has 151 credits as a stunt performer and 40 credits as an actor. So that's pretty, between the two things, they credit them separately. Most recently, he was in Shazam. He's one of the people who get thrown through a window in the convenience store.
Unsung heroes.
Right, exactly. Movies. And most of these guys have been killed by every major star or supervillain or hero.
Well, okay, that's really cool. That clearly was intentional on casting.
Yeah.
Say
that's
here.
So go through, these guys are not only stuntmen, but actors, performers,
yes.
Have multi-skill and all have a great military, they have to look like they're Spec Ops commandos.
A little bit different approach than the casting for the team in The Predator.
Right. Yeah. Because none of these guys are jacked.
Right.
So it's not like the Carl Weathers with the giant arms kind of thing.
No Jesse Ventura?
Right, because they're not matching up.
Man.
Right. But also, they're not matching up against an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, of course.
They have to be physically similar to an Emil Blonsky.
Well, that's what you were just going to say.
Yeah.
Tim Roth.
Because Tim Roth is
yes.
He's not a large man.
No, that makes sense.
He's and that's not a knock.
Right.
But
no.
And because I think that's something that plays into this too, is because Edward Norton is also not a large man, but Emil Blonsky a little bit smaller, and of course they get much bigger.
Right.
So I think that comes along too, because you don't have to have one of these guys be Lou Ferrigno now. That's why you have a Bill Bixby to become a Lou Ferrigno. Same kind of thing with them. They start out as regular and they go on there. So then we get to see that a beautiful shot coming down with the sunset behind it, that Bell 212 laying down as Emil's out there, and they say the two words. They say, Emil Blonsky.
Now this shot if you're telling me Tim Roth doesn't have this shot framed poster size somewhere in his home,
right? You don't get intros like this in a lot of
this
in
is
all the independent
this
stuff he
is
does.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
The sun, all of it,
right?
And I love the fact that it's the 5 of those cool dudes, and these guys are cool, and they're all
wearing black, all wearing sunglasses, looking at who's that guy?
They all got, and they're all like, who's the that guy? Is
right?
It? I want to do that.
Right. That's I pulled an ace, and we're about to meet that.
It kind of is I was like, whoa,
right?
Yeah, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. What's going to happen now? Who is this Emil Blonsky? You'll have to wait until minute 15 to find out.
Tomorrow.
That's right. We'll leave that on a cliffhanger. Who is this Emil Blonsky? Why is he the ace? What's his story? When is he going to have his confrontation with Bruce Banner / the Incredible Hulk? You'll find out in minute 15. While we're talking about stuff, how's your wardrobe looking? If you'd like to have some Marvel Movie Minute or the next reel inspired clothing, we have you covered. Quite literally. We have our own online store. If you go to thenextreel.com/merch, you can buy some stuff from us, and a little piece of that comes back to us to help make the shows that you're listening to right this very minute.
Because you're probably tired. You've gotten all the bootleg Baby Yoda shirts that you can handle.
Right, and now Disney's cracking down on it, so
and
you're
you
need
can't
something.
even get them. So this is something you can get to replace that, because you've worn it out, obviously, because you're wearing it everywhere. So there you go.
Yeah. So okay. Well, we hope you have a smashing good time. Thanks for listening, and until next time, true believers.
Bye.